Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to NIEVS Home School. I'm Samina Akhter and today I'm going to take a B.G.S class for the students of class 7. So dear students, look, this is a B.G.S class and this is lecture number 3 and you will have HW also, and the topic is creative question 1 and 2. Okay, creative question 1 and 2. So dear students, let's go and see the questions. So let's see here. Creative question, it is a page from your book, page number 16. You can see there are two creative questions. Number 1, I'm going to read now. The people of Baharampur started a movement being agitated with the long autocratic attitude and activities of their chairman. He never cared for anyone but some people around him. Other people made movement to establish their rights. The chairman employed all kinds of power in his hand and restored to bloodshed. The strong unity, resistance against injustice and self-sacrifice of the people gradually weakened his power. At one stage, the chairman was forced to resign. So here are the questions. Who declared martial law in Pakistan in 1958? Number B. Why was the Muslim League defeated in the elections of 1954? Explain. C. Which movement of the people of East Pakistan is reflected in the movement of Baharampur? Explain your answer. And lastly, D. The end of chairman of Baharampur reflects the end of President Ayub Khan. Evaluate the statement. Okay, so we are going to see the answers and discuss them. We are going to see the answers of these 4 questions now. Let's see, dear students. Number A is general knowledge based question. So here the question was, who declared martial law in Pakistan in 1958, and the answer is President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law in Pakistan in 1958. B number question was, why was the Muslim League defeated in the elections of 1954? Explain. Okay, so the answer is, in 1954 Muslim League was defeated because of political misery and maladministration. That means politically the situation was really out of hand, and the administrative way that they were conducting the administrative things, it was the wrong way. Okay, they were conducting things the wrong way. That is why it is called maladministration. Okay, the party leaders being alienated from the people could not stand a chance. Okay, so the party leaders were alienated from the people. That means they were far from the thinking of the people. Okay, so misrule, price hike, oppression, factionalism, corruption, disparity between the two parts of Pakistan can be termed as some of the reasons for the crushing defeats of Muslim League. Okay, so here you can see that as the party leaders were not close to the common people, they could not stand a chance of winning. And misrule, price hike, that means the rise of daily necessity, daily goods price, then oppression, factionalism, then that means really a fight between their own party. Okay, the grouping of in their own party, which is called factionalism, then corruption, okay, disparity between the two parts of Pakistan. These can be termed as the reasons of the defeat of Muslim League. Okay, C number question was, which movement of the people of East Pakistan is reflected in the movement of Baharampur? Okay, the answer is the massive uprising of 1969 of the people of East Pakistan is reflected in the movement of Baharampur. Okay, so let's discuss it elaborately. See, the then President of Pakistan, General Ayub Khan's autocratic attitude and activities led underprivileged people of East Pakistan to protest. Students started agitation programs in favor of their 11 points alongside the 6 points of Awami League. In January 1969, Chhatra League, Chhatra Union and Jatiyo Chhatra Federation formed all-party Chhatra Sangram Parishad with a view to ousting General Ayub Khan. Okay, so you can see that back then when General Ayub Khan was in rule, he had an autocratic attitude towards people, and that's why the underprivileged, that means the people who were got less privilege, they are the people of East Pakistan who were less privileged, underprivileged. They began to protest, and the students, they started agitation. Okay, and they in January 1969, Chhatra League, Chhatra Union, Jatiyo Chhatra Federation, they all formed a party called Chhatra Sangram Parishad. Okay, and their aim was to aim with a view to outstanding General Ayub Khan. Okay, it was their aim. The government started using police atrocity, okay, to suppress the agitation. On 20 January 1969, when the police opened indiscriminate fire on agitating students in Dhaka, Asaduzzaman, a student of Dhaka University, was killed. Okay, so when on 20 January in 1969, police opened fire on the students. Then a student of Dhaka University named Asaduzzaman was killed. This killing transformed the agitation into a mass uprising. Okay, failing to sustain the tides of the movement, the military-led government was compelled to withdraw the Agartala case and free all the accused on 22nd February 1969. Finding no other way, the frightened General Ayub Khan resigned from the presidency on 25th March. Okay, so you can see that after the students, their agitation and their movement got bigger, then the Ayub Khan government was forced to withdraw the Agartala case, and finally also General Ayub Khan resigned from the presidency. Okay, they were forced to do that. There are similarities between the mass uprising of 1969 of the people of East Pakistan and the movement of people of Baharampur, that is according to the story given in the stem. Okay, so the movement of Baharampur reflects the mass uprising of 1969 of the people of East Pakistan. Okay, so D number question was the end of chairman of Baharampur reflects the end of President Ayub Khan. So we are going to explain this statement. The end of chairman Baharampur reflects the end of President Ayub Khan. The statement is correct. Okay, so let's see. The people of Baharampur started a movement being agitated with the long autocratic attitude and activities of their chairman. They made a movement to establish their rights. The chairman employed all kinds of power in his hands and restored to bloodshed. The strong unity, resistance against injustice and self-sacrifice of the people gradually weakened his power. Consequently, the chairman was forced to resign. So this is the story in the stem. Okay, this is the event in the stem. The then President of Pakistan, General Ayub Khan's autocratic attitude and activities led the underprivileged people of East Pakistan to protest. Okay, the government started using police atrocity to suppress the movement of the people. On 20 January 1969, when the police fired on the agitating students in Dhaka, Asaduzzaman, a student of Dhaka University, was killed. The killing transformed the agitation into a mass uprising. Finding no other way, the frightened General Ayub Khan resigned from the presidency on 25th March. Okay, so these events of the resigning during the President Ayub Khan's regime, the resigning of President Ayub Khan is similar with the resigning of chairman of Baharampur. Okay, so from the above discussion, it is evident that the end of the chairman of Baharampur reflects the end of the President Ayub Khan. Okay, dear students, this is the question number 1. Now we are going to read the question number 2 and discuss the answer. So there are two events given here. Various languages were event 1, various languages were spoken among the people of country X, but the rulers were interested to make one language as their state language. So the inhabitants speaking other languages organized a movement. At one stage, the rulers were forced to recognize all languages. Event 2. Grandfather told his grandson Tawhidul and that his father Mr. Ansari was a member of the National Assembly of Pakistan. Although his party was highly popular and won absolute majority in the election, then the then rulers were not interested to hand over the power to them. Okay, A number question. How many people were accused in the Agartala case? State versus Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and others. B number. Why is the 6th point called the Manifesto of Freedom for the Inhabitants of East Bengal? C number. Which event of the then East Pakistan is reflected in event 1? D number. That event 2 portrays the election of 1970 and its aftermath. Discuss the statement. Okay, so let's discuss the answers. Answer question number 2. A number, it was asked that how many people were accused in the Agartala case. So here the answer is 35 people including Sheikh Mujibur Rahman were accused in the Agartala case. Okay, so this is the general based knowledge based question. So you all know that 35 people were accused including Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. B number question was, why is the 6th point called the Manifesto of Freedom for the Inhabitants of East Bengal? The 6th point movement is called the Manifesto of Freedom for the Inhabitants of East Bengal. The 6th point movement, because the 6th point movement highlights on all rights including economic, political, military rights for the Bengalis of East Pakistan. It opened a new horizon of Bengali consciousness. The 6 points were actually the demand for autonomy of the province. That is why the 6th point movement is called the Manifesto of Freedom for the Inhabitants of East Bengal. So if you have read the 6th point movement, then you would know that in the 6th point movement, the 6 points were actually 6 demands which were focused on the betterment or development of the East Bengal. Okay, so that is why it was actually the demand for autonomy, so that people of the East Bengal can do better for themselves. That is why it was considered a manifesto of freedom or charter of freedom for the inhabitants of East Bengal. Okay, number C question was, which event of the then East Pakistan is reflected in event 1? Okay, the answer is in event 1, the language movement of the then East Pakistan is reflected. The then East population of Pakistan was 6 crore 90 lakh, of which Bengalis were 4 crores 40 lakh. Urdu was not even the mother tongue of the rest of the 2.5 crore. The Pakistani regime wanted to impose the language of the minority on the majority of population. Bengalis wanted the recognition of their mother tongue as a state language alongside Urdu. So, agitation started to establish the right of Bangla language. Okay, agitation started to establish the right of Bangla language. Finally, the Pakistani rulers were compelled to declare Bangla alongside Urdu as a state language of Pakistan. Okay, so let's see. In event 1, although various languages were spoken among the people of country X, the rulers were interested to make one language as their state language, so the inhabitants speaking other languages organized a movement. At one stage, the rulers were forced to recognize all languages. As event 1 is the language-centered movement, it indicates the language movement of the then East Pakistan. Okay, so you would understand that the story given in the event 1 is similar to the event of language movement. Okay, D number question was the event 2 portrays the election of 1970 and its aftermaths. Okay, so let's this statement is correct. Let's discuss the general election of the provincial the general election and the provincial election. Okay, and the provincial election was held in 1970. In the National Assembly, the main opponents were Awami League and Pakistan People's Party. Awami League got the majority in East Pakistan, but the Pakistani rulers started hatching conspiracy to delay the transfer of power. When Awami League prepared to receive the power, the chief of PPP, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, started conspiracy with Yahya Khan. To give response with Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Yahya Khan postponed the National Assembly on 1st March to delay the handover of the power to Awami League. In event 2, a grandfather told his grandson Tawhidul that his father, Mr. Ansari, was a member of the National Assembly of Pakistan, although this party was highly popular and won absolute majority. Okay, although this party was highly popular and won absolute majority in the election, the then rulers were not interested to hand over the power to them. So, the event 2 in the stem portrays the election of 1970 and its aftermath. Okay, so dear students, so these two are the questions and you will have to do SW. Okay, SW of 1 number CQ, 1 number CQ, A and B. Okay, only A and B you have to do. Okay, girls. So sorry, students. So these two are the questions, and their answers are discussed to you. So I hope you have understood all these two questions. So dear students, I will see you in the next class.